let's get you up and going. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. Lori is asking, can I do home staging part-time? I work a full-time job right now and also have 2 young kids. I'm looking for something that I can do part-time as the kids are starting school and I'll have a little bit more time available. Okay. So, here's the thing. For starting your home staging career, yes, you can absolutely do it part-time. I did it. I actually worked as a bartender. It was great. I worked as a bartender for a number of years. So I left my corporate job, and bartending gave me the flexibility that I needed to be able to support the business in a way that felt good with me. But there's a lot of just changes in the landscape of corporate world these days as well. I know some of my students have just approached their employer and said, hey, can I start having Fridays off and do a 4-day work week? And so you end up servicing your clients Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Maybe you service them some evenings. Some employers provide you with a flexible work schedule that as long as you're getting your work done, doesn't matter what time of day. So that allows you to navigate around it. Ultimately, though, in order to grow the business, you will need to at some point commit to it full time. So, many home stagers work full time while they're getting that initial training. And then, of course, while they're launching and growing their business, it really helps you to nail things down behind the scenes, get that momentum going, build up your name in the marketplace before you transition into full time. But you'll know when you're ready. I will say that most stagers probably transition later than they should. But no one necessarily regrets doing it that way. But, we kind of have we keep the job as our security blanket while we're building things up. We'll help to teach you sort of more of an abundance mindset as opposed to a scarcity mindset. So you know that money is always coming, and we'll help you get out of that other job sooner than later. And you might be able to even just cut your other job back to part-time and do this one full-time as you're transitioning as well. And I apologize. I realized I was going to turn on my mic for these questions, wasn't I? We'll see how lagging it is. It may still be pretty laggy, so I might just turn it back off because I do find that gets a little bit distracting. Okay, let's see. Any other questions? No? All right, I'll give it a moment. Feel free to take your time. Feel free to throw your questions in there. All right, Melissa says, what do you cover? What is covered in a consultation? Yeah, I talked quite a bit about a consultation in this. The shortest answer to what's covered in a consultation is honestly everything. You're not holding back from a consultation with the idea that, I'll sell you the rest of that information. A consultation is a complete service in itself. It's essentially intended to be a do-it-yourself option for your clients. Here's the thing. So a lot of people hear this, like, well, why would I do that? I don't want the clients doing this themselves. I want to come back and do the things. I'm going to do it better than them, yada, yada, yada. There's a few different ways to navigate this. For starters, you can offer just like a final photo prep service where they do all the work, but you come back to put the finishing touches on things. We actually call it a finishing touches service. And RESPs, it's a trademarked service that RESPs have access to that trademark. But essentially, you might just have that where you're just going back just before the photos, do that final primping to really make sure that they didn't miss anything for the photos. I will tell you that probably one of the biggest things that I find people miss for the photos is things like making the bed properly. It's just like a little bit crooked, or there's a sheet sticking out, or maybe they've just left like a TV remote or toilet brush in view of the camera. And unfortunately, the photographers won't always catch these things and move them themselves. So going back for that final photo primping after they've done the do-it-yourself consult is a great way to really make sure that those photos pop and really, really kind of get that extra wow with the client. But here's the other thing that you can do in the consultation. This is one of the things that we teach you and how we train on doing the consultations. And that is how to upsell your clients. So the idea is when you're doing this consultation, you're going to lay out all the things that they need to do, but it's going to sound like a lot of work for them because you know what? It is a lot of work for them. And so the more you can showcase your expertise, and again, we give you all the tips and techniques for doing this, but the more that you can showcase your expertise and your value, the more they're going to be like, well, you know what? Why don't you just do all of this instead of us doing it? So they'll hire you to do all of that. You'll create a proposal for them. You'll get the money from them, and you will schedule in that staging project. So so I mean, in terms of what's covered in the consultation, it's everything. It's so recommendations on how to do any updates to the house, any repairs that are necessary, rearranging furniture, selecting paint colors, adding any sort of decor, etc. And I mean, you're not necessarily saying when you're telling them to add decor or artwork or things like that, you're not saying like, get a piece that looks exactly like this with these specific colors, but you might give them some direction in terms of sizing, overall theme, or size or color, I should say. But you're not necessarily getting super nitty gritty details. You're not pulling up links. You're not sourcing the items for them. You're not going online and saying like, oh, here's an item, go buy this one. That is all a paid service to go that far above and beyond. But you can give them some idea and direction anyway for this. And then, like I said, the idea is that they're so happy with everything that you've done and your expertise. So they're just like, you just do it for us, right? All right.